Okay, so GoDaddy. Most people, when they hear that name, they think domains, right? Like that's their big thing.
Yeah, they're definitely known for that.
But you handed us a whole stack of info here, so I get the feeling we're digging deeper this time.
It seems like you're trying to see if they live up to this whole one-stop shop image they've got going on.
Like,
Which, I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? Everything in one place.
right. Convenience is king. But yeah, is it too good to be true? That's what we're here to figure out. And their About Us page, they call themselves a growth partner, not just some service you use.
That's a growth partner. It's bolder for sure, like they're trying to be more involved.
Exactly. And they say they want to support entrepreneurs at every stage, which to me says they're thinking long term, not just getting your website up.
Yeah, like they want to be there for the whole journey of the business, which is ambitious.
And speaking of getting you started, they've got these GoDaddy guides, which are actual people, apparently, like to help you out with the tech side of things.
I've honestly not seen that from other providers. Most just throw you to the wolves with their help articles or like those chatbots that never understand what you're asking.
Oh, tell me about it. The chatbots. So are they trying to, like, humanize tech support? Because that's usually a black hole of misery.
I think that's the goal. And it makes sense, particularly if they're going after those small businesses, entrepreneurs who might find tech intimidating. They've got to make it seem less scary, right?
Big time. Though they're also throwing around some big numbers. Over 21 million entrepreneurs they claim to support. And get this, 82 million domain names.
Wow. 82 million. That's a lot of internet real estate.
They're definitely a major player, we can say that much for sure. But all right, let's get down to it. What are they actually offering beyond just the domain name? I mean, that's what we're really curious about.
So you sent over some stuff about their VPS hosting, which tells me you're interested in the more, shall we say, robust options, not just a simple website builder.
You got it. If
Yeah.
you're serious about your online presence these days, you need more, right? Like speed, reliability, all that good stuff. That's what VPS hosting is about, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. GoDaddy's not just for beginners anymore. Those VPS plans, those are for bigger projects, things that need more power, more resources.
Which is where those GoDaddy guides might actually be super useful, come to think of it. Because VPS stuff, that can get pretty technical.
Oh, absolutely.
You've really got to know what you're doing. But you dug into their claims about the speed and all that, and, well, they guarantee 99.9% uptime, which I feel like everyone says, but it's still good to see.
Right, you expect that from a big player like them.
Yeah.
But they also mentioned PCI compliance, which is huge, especially if you're running a store online or dealing with sensitive customer data.
Yeah, you can't mess around with that stuff these days. And they were really emphasizing that, like how they handle credit card info safely, even suggesting, like, third-party options if that's easier for people.
It's like they're trying to get ahead of any concerns you might have, which is smart. Security is a big deal for people, especially with online business.
For sure. So it really seems like they're going for that one-stop shop thing. Domains, hosting, even e-commerce solutions. But is that, like, really the best way to go? I don't know, I'm torn.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Convenience versus, like, specialization. Do they excel at everything, or are they spreading themselves a little thin trying to do it all? We'll have to see. We need to dig deeper. That's right, we got to look into the hood a bit. And the perfect place to start is that VPS hosting info you sent. Virtual private server, for those who don't speak techie.
Right. So VPS is like a step up from those shared hosting plans, yeah. But for someone who's not like a website wizard, what's the real benefit? What am I getting?
Okay, so imagine shared hosting is like a crowded bus, right? Everyone's sharing the space, sharing the resources. Things can get slow if someone's hogging all the seats.
Okay, yeah, I've been on that bus. Not fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with VPS, it's like you've got your own lane. You're still sharing the road, so to speak, some of the infrastructure, but you have dedicated resources. Your site's less likely to be affected if someone else is running something huge on the same server.
So my site won't crash just because someone else with a GoDaddy account is, like, streaming a movie in 4K or something. I'm protected from that chaos.
Exactly. And GoDaddy makes a point of using something called KVM virtualization, which really makes sure those resources are yours.
Okay, good to know. Now, you mentioned speed before, and GoDaddy really seems to love these NVMe SSDs they've got. Is that something I should care about? Honestly, it sounds like tech jargon to me.
It's not just jargon. It makes a difference. Think of it this way. If your website was a store, right? Those SSDs are like having the fastest cashiers ever. They process information crazy fast, so your pages load faster for visitors.
And faster loading means people are less likely to just give up and go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, huge. GoDaddy claims those SSDs are up to 3 times faster than regular hard drives. And online, speed is everything. It can even affect, like, where you show up in search results.
No kidding. All right, so what about security? They mentioned DDoS protection, which seems pretty standard these days, or no?
It is becoming more common, but it's not all created equal. GoDaddy talks about 24/7 network monitoring, meaning they've got people watching for suspicious activity all the time.
So it's like security guards for your website, constantly on patrol.
Basically. And if someone does try that DDoS thing, which is like flooding your site with traffic to crash it, they have ways to try and block it.
Okay, phew. Dodging a bullet there. Though one thing I saw was they have this unlimited hosting option. That's it got to be a trick, right?
Yeah.
No one can offer truly unlimited anything.
Right, we've all fallen for the unlimited trap before. There's always a catch somewhere.
So with GoDaddy, what is it? What's the fine print hiding?
It always comes down to how they manage their network. GoDaddy might throttle your bandwidth if you're using a ton, or they'll have usage rules, to stop people from abusing the system. It's all about keeping things fair for everyone.
So, like, if I was going to host a platform for streaming, like every movie ever made, 24/7, I should probably check with them first, make sure that's cool.
Definitely. Transparency is key, always. But look, we've talked a lot about the tech stuff. What about the human side? GoDaddy has both managed and self-managed VPS hosting. Big difference there for different types of users.
So it's like managed hosting, that's for people who want someone to take care of everything, right? And self-managed, that's for the more hands-on types who like to tinker.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Managed VPS, GoDaddy's basically your tech team. They handle the server stuff, the updates, security, all the behind-the-scenes things that can be a real headache.
Which, let's be honest, most people probably don't want to deal with. But if you're like a coding whiz or something, self-managed gives you that root access, right? You can really get in there and customize everything.
Exactly. You've got full control. But like with great power comes great responsibility, right? You're on the hook if anything goes wrong.
Makes sense. So it really depends on your skill level, how much time you have, all that. But you know what I always find helpful? User reviews. Like, what are people actually saying about GoDaddy's VPS hosting out there in the wild?
Oh, for sure. Real-world feedback is so important. And the good news is you've got some of that for us, both good and bad, which is perfect. Gives us a balanced view.
Hit me with the good stuff first.
Yeah.
What are people loving about GoDaddy VPS?
Well, a lot of the reviews mention speed, like a noticeable difference after switching from shared hosting. Sounds like those NVMe SSDs are living up to the hype.
Yeah, gotta love those fast loading pages. Keeps everyone happy, customers and businesses.
For sure. And the people who chose managed VPS, they seem really happy with the support. Like they feel taken care of, but not overwhelmed by it all, which is a tough balance to strike, honestly.
Yeah, no one wants to feel abandoned with their tech, but no one wants to be bombarded with jargon either, so that's good to hear. But no company's perfect. What about the other side? What are people complaining about?
Honestly, customer support comes up a few times on the negative side too. Like some people said it was great, but others waited ages for help or had trouble getting their issue fully solved.
It's always the tech support gamble, right? Can be amazing or it can be the most frustrating thing ever.
Totally. And a few people said that while GoDaddy's starting prices are good, their renewals get pricey compared to some others. So got to factor in those long-term costs, not just the initial deal.
The old bait and switch, classic move. Always read that fine print, everyone. Anything else?
Last thing, and this is more for the techies, but some people found GoDaddy's control panel a bit limiting, like not as much customization as they'd like.
So if you're someone who likes to really dig into the settings and tweak everything, GoDaddy might not be the best fit.
Yeah, it seems like they've prioritized ease of use over like total flexibility, which makes sense for their target audience, but it's not for everyone.
Okay, so bottom line, someone listening is trying to decide about GoDaddy VPS. What do they really need to think about?
First off, how tech-savvy are you? Do you want GoDaddy to handle it all, or do you want to be in the driver's seat making all the choices?
Second, how much does speed really matter to you? Because they've got that, but the customer support, that seems like a bit of a mixed bag, depending on who you ask.
And then, of course, your budget. Not just what you can pay now, but what about a year or 2 years down the line? GoDaddy might have those low intro prices, but check those renewal rates before you commit long-term.
All excellent points. So weigh those pros and cons. See what matters most to you. That's how you make the right call.
Couldn't have said it better myself. What works for one person might not work for another. That's just the way it goes with web hosting. There's no magic answer.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our GoDaddy deep dive. Hopefully everyone listening feels a bit more informed now. We've covered a lot of ground here, from their services to real user experiences.
Knowledge is power. That's what I always say. The more you know, the better decisions you can make for your online stuff.
And hey, who knows? Maybe next time we'll dive into those AI tools they're working on. Things change so fast in the tech world, it's hard to keep up. But until then, happy hosting, everyone.